All right, and this is our Paragon home screen. This is where we will be when we first enter Paragon. You'll see some, uh, there's lots of little things here, and you'll see some nice little applications that you can use, like the market monitor, for instance, over on the right here. The market monitor is intended to be like a brief overview of what's going on the market currently. You'll see it has like new listings, expired listings, price change. Hot list are listings that are meeting a certain amount of views. So they meet that threshold and they are deemed to be getting a lot of attention and they hit the hot list. And then you'll see some more categories down there as well. So this actually can go by city. So you can designate your area. So for instance, if you want to have the market monitor for Oakland, you can click on this little cogwheel here, and it'll bring up a little form where you can enter the city or cities that you would like to have for the market monitor. It can go back 7 days in the past, but you can change it to, like, let's say you want to go 2 days in the past. You just hit refresh, and eventually it will refresh. It's being a little slow here, but you will see those numbers change. You can actually click on any of those categories, and it will give you a spreadsheet of everything that matches the market monitor. And then also you can see you can switch between office and firm if you want to get more specific to your office or your firm. My info there would be your personal listings. Most of the time, you probably just want it on the market tab there. All right, on the left-hand side, we have our quick search. A quick search is a condensed version of the general search, meaning it just has fewer fields that it allows you to put to search through. You can actually customize the fields that you would like on there if you click on the little cogwheel right here. That will bring up a form where you can edit what fields are there. Also on our home page here, you'll see some links to quick statistics where you can get month-to-month comparison sheets, and then a couple of like member applications and MLS rules. Those are links to our general website where you can get any forms that you might need. Email opt-in and opt-out. That is for if you have a client that has maybe accidentally opted out of receiving Paragon emails, you can click this link, enter their email, and it'll send them an email so they can re-enroll for automatic emails from Paragon, should you set them up with that. And then also on our homepage here, you'll see some other, typically these will be either news links or very pertinent links. As you can scroll down here, there's some more info. All right. And then finally here on our homepage, but you will always be able to see this no matter what page you're on in Paragon, is the power search. So the power search is a quick search to search for a specific listing. So if I enter in an address there or an MLS number, it will bring up that specific listing. If it's an address, it'll bring up any times it's been listed on the MLS. So I'll show you what that looks like. I'll enter in an example address there. And so then you'll see it'll pop up with the listing as it was last sold. All right. So now I'm going to show you how to conduct a general search in Paragon. So I'll do that by clicking on search in this top menu here. And when I do that, you'll see a drop-down menu. It says search by class. These are all of the different classes that we can search through. Today, we're going to be doing a residential search. You also see in the middle column here, there's different specialty searches. The mapping search is actually built into a general search, so by class. So that right there is something that you can access in a general search anyways. But if you want to go straight to that, you can do that there. Also, something of note here is the open house and tour search. If you want to search listings that are coming up on open house or have tours scheduled, you can um, access that right here. Also, you have inventory search. The inventory search is for your own listings. If you want to get a history of listings that you are credited as the listing agent or the buyer agent or both, you can access that through the inventory search. All of these searches are formatted very similarly to the general search. And I'll go into one right now so you can see what that looks like. So this is our general search. Looks a lot like that quick search, but way more fields. Um, if we scroll down here, you'll see, so this is the primary criteria. If we scroll down here, you see secondary criteria. You can click on that. It'll expand and you have some more fields. Also advanced criteria that we can click on, and there are more fields there as well. So I'll enter in some example search terms just so you can see that. So for my status, today I want to do all active statuses. There's two ways for me to add that in. I can start typing active and it will bring up a drop down menu of anything that matches the text that I've inputted. And you'll see all active there at the top. I can simply select that and it will bring up it'll select that as my option there. Or if I want to see a list of everything that I can choose from, I can click on this little spyglass button there, and it brings up this little form where you can scroll through and pick the statuses that you would like. The top one here, for instance, for active, that means all active statuses, which encompasses everything that is like a sub item underneath it. So if I click that, it'll select all of those. If I unclick that, it'll deselect them. And let's say I just want new listings. New listings are listings that just hit the MLS and are within their first 7 days. I can just click on that, and then you'll see just new listings are selected. All right, but so for today, I'll do all active, city, we'll do Berkeley. All right, so I'm down here on my price field. So in my price field, it's formatted a little specifically in Paragon. You'll see that it goes by the hundred thousands. So I have a low and a high. So if I put my high as, let's say I want my high to be 1.3 million, I would put 1300 because it's in the hundred thousands, as you can see there. So my cap for how expensive these are is 1.3 million. And if I leave my low blank, that means it's anything cheaper than that. But I can certainly cap that as well if I put like 900, if I want it to be 900,000 to 1300. But again, if I leave that blank, then it will just be everything 1300 or 1.3 million and down. So with these different criteria fields, you can fill out as much or as little of this as you would like. Um, I would say that the more specific you are, the lower your count is typically going to be. So if you are encountering a situation where you are entering criteria and you're like seeing way fewer results than what you're expecting, you will want to just double check what you have in your criteria there. Make sure you aren't entering too many things because that can certainly restrict what is going on. And then one field I'm going to show you before we actually start our search and view our results is the features field. This is going to be in secondary criteria. It is unique in that it has three different ways that you can add in features: must have, must not have, and must have one or more. So must have is if I enter in a specific home feature there, that means any listing that matches the search has to have that designated on their listing, as it has like a pool, for instance. Or if I put pool in must not have, that means, obviously the exact opposite. And then must have one or more is relevant when you have multiple features that you're looking for. So if I put pool and I don't know, beamed ceiling, that means that it has to either have a pool or a beamed ceiling to qualify for this search. So just so you know, that's what that is. And then at any time, if I want to add any fields to my search here, if I want to um, search through something that is not currently on here, I can do that by clicking on, I'll hover my mouse here on customize, and then I'll click fields. And then clicking on fields will bring up this little form here. Everything on the left are available fields, which means they are fields that you can add in to your search. Everything on the right are selected fields, which means they are fields that are currently in your search already. So for instance, if I want to add the buyer agent one field, which is the buyer agent name, I would just simply click it. I would hit add, and then you'll see it'll be added to the very bottom of my primary criteria. If I want to reorder where it is, I can simply click and drag it and drop it, and that will reorder where it is. So when I'm happy with where it is, I can just hit apply and save, or apply if I don't want that to save for future searches, which for the purposes of this, I will just hit apply, and then you'll see it reload. And then we have our field buyer agent one right there appear right where I put it. So that is how to add a field to your search. All right, I'll re-enter my criteria here. And we will do our search. We have 36 results here. So if I want to see my results, all I have to do is hit search. And then that will bring up a spreadsheet of my results. So I can click on any of these results to view a agent report of it. So we can see that here. And then I can cycle through agent reports right here. If I click on next, it'll go to the next one on the list and so forth. So if I want to get back to the spreadsheet here, I'll just go back to criteria, hit search again, and it'll reload, and you'll see it'll go back to the spreadsheet in case you want to do that and you accidentally clicked one of these numbers. All right, so on our spreadsheet itself, you can actually um, change where the fields are by simply clicking and dragging them and releasing them. And then you'll see it will move and then save your columns. And then also you can customize what are on the uh, criteria fields here by going to customize fields, just the same as we did when we were adding a listing. And it works in the very same way. So you can do that as well. All right. And so something that you can also access while you are creating a search is the map search. So we can click on this little middle column right here to go to our map search. Also back in criteria, you'll see search by map, and you can click anywhere in this gray bar and it'll open up the map search as well. All right, so this is my map search, the map version of the search that I did. You'll see these little price tags. These price tags represent individual listings. If I click on one of them, you'll see a preview for that listing. And then you'll also see CRS data reports. These are tax reports. So you can click on one of these and it will open that in CRS tax, which you have free as a Bridge MLS member. You can click on that and it will show you the tax report. It's a nice little quick thing there if that interests you. You also see these little clusters like 2 and 3 and stuff there. Those are just listings that are really close to each other. If you zoom in, you'll start to see them break down into little price tags. and such. All right, so something that we can do in our map search is we can draw a shape if we want a really specific area of Berkeley here. So we have three different shapes that we can do. We have our polygon tool, which is essentially a custom shape where you can click and it'll make a point. You'll click elsewhere to make another point, and you can keep going and make the shape of your dreams. And then when you're done, you can double click and it will close the shape off. And now the only things that qualify for your search are what is within this shape. And so I can get rid of that by clicking on edit. And then we see our polygon here. I'll hit the little X and then it goes away and we have all of our full map results here. Okay, and then we have two other shapes. We have rubber band, which you will just click and drag and release. It makes a square. And then we have our radius tool where you can click and drag and it'll make a radius with the center point being wherever you initially click. You can drag and then release, and then it creates that radius shape. Something else that you can do with the radius is you can center the map on an address if you want to get a radius from a specific address. So I'll enter in an address right here. And I hit enter. After I enter that, the address will go away. That's normal. That's just what it does. And then you'll see this little, the map will move and you'll see that little flag there in the center of the screen. That means this is that address and the map has now centered on it. And you can go to this little miles box here and put in, for instance, 1 to create a 1 mile radius around wherever the exact center of the map is, which is that address because I centered it on that. And then I'll hit search radius and it will generate a radius of 1 mile length around the center of the map, that address. So that's a really handy tool because, you know, oftentimes that is how we search for listings. All right, so I will then again go to search, and then you'll see my listings are changed here to just the results for the map search. All right, and so I have the results in my hypothetical search that I would like, and I want to now send them to a client. So there are a couple of different ways that I can share that with a client. Firstly, I can do it by email. If I click on the little email tab right here, it will bring up this form where you can do it'll by default select collab link, which is a client portal where your client can go in and see all the listings and they can interact with the listings. They can like thumbs up them, thumbs down them, that sort of a thing. You can do a hyperlink, which is just a link to a specific report. Please note that you can only email out client-friendly reports, so it won't have all of the same information that you will see because by default you'll be seeing a agent report. It will have certain fields redacted due to privacy and what is allowed to be shown. So you can select your report here, whichever one you like client queue page, for instance, hit add, and then you can compose email. And there's a couple different ones that you can add as well. If you want just some of these listings, you can select whichever ones you would like and hit email. And then you'll see it'll ask you if you want to use your selected listings or all listings or just the current listing. So that's something to be aware of. Another way that you can share it is the share button right here. There is the collab link share. This will generate a hyperlink to a collab link that you can copy and paste wherever you would like in an email separately. Then also, if you have your cell phone number set up in your member profile, you can text it from Paragon you will need to have a phone number set up actually for your client, and it will go to their phone number. All right, and so let's say I have, um, you know, the criteria that I'd like, but I want to send a recurring search and have my client get um, updated results for my search over time. I can do that by, I'll go back to criteria here and we'll see save search. So we have two options here. We have save search, which will just save your search so that you don't lose it. And then save search as, which is where we can actually assign it to somebody and create an automatic search. So I'll choose that and it'll bring up this little window. We have search name, which just keep in mind that your client will always be able to see the search name. So you'll want to make sure it's something appropriate. And then what we can do is select contact. In contact, you'll name your search. And then if you have your contact created already, you can add them right here. And if you don't have them added already, you can click add new contact and it'll bring up a little window where you can add them. All it needs is their first and last name. And then really you will just want to input a email address so that they will be able to receive emails from Paragon. And then here, I'll just add in an example client. And then I would just do save and notify. And it'll take us over to this page, which is their buyer activity page in their contact profile. We'll go over contact profiles in a second here. And you'll see the automatic notifications tab. The automatic notifications tab by default will set to Collab Center. And once you set up a um, listing, they will receive an invite. You'll see up here an option to send an invitation that this is their initial message that will prompt them to create a login for the Collab Center, where they can log in at any time after that. If you want to have it not be this client portal, the Collab Center, you can change it to just email by going and choosing the email option. You'll see that it brings up this email notifications section right here. And you can, customize your email. You can write whatever you'd like to write here. This will be the recurring message that sends to them when they get new results for their listing. And the most important part here is the notify section. So by default, it'll set to immediately, meaning that as soon as a new listing matches your criteria, that individual listing will be emailed to your client. If you want them to receive less emails, you want them to have everything new for the day, for instance, set, you can just choose recurring and then set time frame. And so that will bring up this little window here where you can designate how often you have your search. All right, so that is searching and setting up a automatic notification system for a client. Another way to access a client profile is within the contacts tab right here. You can just go to add contact under contacts and it'll bring up that same little window that we saw to add a contact. Again, all you need is a first name, a last name, and an email of some kind. Also, something to note actually that now that we're on this is uh, an email can only be entered in once. So if you can't make multiple contacts for the same person with the same email, it'll have to be a different email per contact, just so you're aware. All right, and then let's say you've added your contact, you can then go to contacts and view and manage contacts to see them. And then if you remember earlier, we spoke about the email opt-in. So if your client is not opted into emails, which by default they will be, if you're setting someone up for the first time, but if there will be a little message on the emails that they receive to be able to opt out. So if they have opted out, you'll see something that looks like this little envelope with an exclamation point. You can see that they are opted out by looking at that. And the little yellow one means that they are opted in. So that's just something to be aware of. So for our example client, you can click on their name. It'll open up their contact profile, an overview of any searches that they might have. And if you want to monitor any searches that they have, change the notifications, whatever, it'll just be under the buyer activity tab here. And you'll see a list of any searches that you have for them set up. All right, and so lastly here for our intro to Paragon, I am going to show you how to um, create a listing in Paragon, how to actually list a property. So we will be able to do that by clicking on the listing tab right here, and we'll have add listing, and you can choose your class. So I'll do residential. And when I click on that, the first thing that will actually come up is a search form. This is to search for the property on tax record so that it can autofill some information from tax record onto your um, listing input so that it can save you some time. What you will need for this is county, so I'll do that real quick, street number, and then the street name. And for most listings, this is all you need. You should be seeing a one count most of the time after that. You can click search and you'll see an address come up and a little tax ID. If this looks like your property, you can check it and then hit autofill. And then you will see everything that it can autofill on your behalf. You can review them. You can deselect things that you might not want autofilled for whatever reason. But anything that you want autofilled, you'll have checked, and then you just hit save. And there you go. It'll add that in for you to your listing. You can always skip that autofill section. If you just click on, it'll say new residential or new whatever your listing class that you chose is. It'll say that here. You can just click on that to bypass the autofill section when you're on there, if you don't want to use that. All right, so this is our listing input form. You'll see there is a red R next to some of the fields. That means it is a required field in order to actually post your listing onto the MLS. You can save it as a draft at any time, but the R means that if you want to publish it, that needs to be filled out. So speaking of drafts, in Paragon, drafts are called partial listings, and you can save your listing as a partial at any point by hovering over this green save button and choosing save as partial listing, that second option right there. You can have as much or as little of this filled out as you want, and it'll save as a partial listing. Save listing will attempt to publish your listing. So if I were to do that right now, it would give me like a billion errors because I have most of this not filled out. It'll show you exactly which fields aren't filled out if that were the case. But once you have everything filled out, then you can go to save listing and it'll prompt you and you can publish your listing. And then as you can see, not every field is required. Anything that doesn't have that, you do not need to add anything in there. And then if we scroll down here, there are going to be some different sections here. You have remarks, for instance, features, and then finally you have sold information down there. Sold information is only relevant to listings in the pending or sold status. So you won't have to worry about that when you're initially loading a listing, but these fields will become required once you are later on in the process and switch your statuses. And in case you're unaware, the pending status essentially means that you have accepted an offer and that offer is now pending escrow. So that is what the pending status would be. And then when that closes, that's when you change it over to sold. All right, so in our listing, our listing maintenance page here, we can do a few things. We can go over to our menu here and choose the add edit pictures section. Currently you can upload 60 photos total to your listing. And here you can just click on the upload multiple photos section, and you can drag and drop or just click add files to get them right off of your desktop. And you can add them here and upload them. Below that, you have View Detail Report. View Detail Report is going to be a preview of your listing. It may not be exactly accurate to your listing. Your listing might show slightly differently, but it is intended to be a general preview of what your listing will look like if you were to publish it in its current state. Below that, you have add edit documents if you want to attach any documents to your listing. There's also a field specifically for disclosures in your general listing fields. But if you want to attach it instead of listing a link, you can certainly do that there. And then you have add edit open house and add edit tour. Both of these options you can only do when your listing is in an active status, but you can add those with these two sections. You can add an open house and add a tour. And then finally, you have add edit videos if you want to attach a link to a video. There's also a media link field on your general information section here as well. And yeah, that is about it for adding a listing. Again, partials can be saved at any time. I would highly encourage you to regularly save your listing as a partial. It can take a while to fill out these forms sometimes, and you don't want to lose your progress. When you are publishing, you will see popping up around right here. You'll see some little uh, confirmation items. Basically, when you're attempting to publish, it'll basically have you just check a box and make sure that you are indeed trying to publish something. So again, just watch out for that up here when you are publishing your listing. All right, and that is it for our intro to Paragon course today. If you have any questions, you can certainly contact us at our support line. And then also there are a plethora of tutorials, both video and text, in this help section right here. I'll just click on that and show you. So it goes by category, but there are lots of different really robust text and video tutorials. There's also the MLS Academy, which is a way to, it'll basically test you. It'll show you very lengthy tutorials that go really in depth and test you at the end, and you can get Paragon certified officially. And it's a really, really nice way to um, learn the program in depth and be able to use all of its awesome functionalities. All right, so yeah, that is it for today. Thank you so much for attending. And again, if you have any questions, you can contact our support line. Um, and yeah, thank you.